All right, we're back. Second episode tonight. What is today? I don't even know what today is.
December, what, 10th, 11th?
Wow, is it
Something like
that
that.
already?
Dude, the whole year is going
Yeah, it
by
has fucking.
way too fast.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, because I guess it's got to be somewhere. Because what, Christmas is in like 2 fucking weeks.
Doesn't even feel like it.
Jesus Christ.
And then it's going to come and go, and we'll be in a new year, and then that whole year will pass so fast. I don't even, honestly, I don't want to think about that. Like, this year started off as a really good year for me, and just fucking passed, and I'm like, what the fuck?
This year has been shit.
Well, it started off good for me, and then it just turned to shit.
This
now.
hasn't been a good year.
Yeah. It's been a rough last few years anyway, though.
Yeah.
All that COVID shit. So.
No, I'm not worried about fucking COVID
Like,
shit.
fuck COVID.
It's fake news.
Fake news.
I guess the last episode we talked about movies. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. And then we liked and liked more shit. So Andrew thinks this is gonna be a fucking drinking game, with the
The likes and
10 people that watch this shit.
Yeah, like there he just did it again. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be a drinking game. But we're gonna to make it fair, we're gonna have to make it where so many likes get you a drink.
Yeah, you're gonna have to tell your wife you're gonna have to start staying here just because I say like.
It's gonna be under.
I'm so fucked up because I say like.
It's gonna be. You're gonna be done in a matter of seconds.
Like, no doubt.
No doubt, son.
So I mean, I don't know. We're going off of jumping in this, not really having a clue of where we want to go. So I don't know, dude. I get these little fucking ideas in my head sometime that come out of I don't even know where the fuck they come from, but it just seems like a good idea at the time. So I'll tell you the story and then we'll go on with it.
And
so one time we were laying in bed and for some reason, man, I just thought of Dumb and Dumber, right? And you know where Jim Carrey lights his farts?
Yeah.
So we're watching TV and I turned the TV off and Tracy's like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Hey, do you think a fart is really flammable?" And she was like, I don't know what she said. So I pulled out my fucking drawers in bed. It's dark. I mean, the room is pitch black dark. I lift my fucking legs up.
Oh,
I grabbed the lighter off the fucking nightstand, right? And she's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We're going to see if this is true." And she was like, "Right here in bed?" I said, "It's fucking dark. This is perfect, right? I mean, if it's going to do anything, it's just going to be like a little right? Or knock the flame out, okay?"
Send your asshole or something.
So I'm squatting up like I'm about to fucking give birth. I'm all post it. I fucking put the lighter. It gets kind of close to the nut, so I kind of back it off a little bit, spark it. So I'm trying to force myself to fart because, I mean, I had to fart anyway, but so this idea, this is how fucking retarded I know I shouldn't say retarded, but this is how retarded shit that comes up in my mind is. So I'm like, okay. And I fart, right? And it's fucking it's a.
Oh, fuck.
Farts are very fucking flammable, dude.
Methane gas, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh,
so,
man.
Not only did it light this fucking dark room up like fucking Christmas, but the flame rolled and it touched every fucking hair. So the flame started at my nuts, right?
Oh, fuck.
So from there, it rolled up to my stomach, to my chest, up in my fucking face. Dude, you're looking at me. I'm not even bullshitting. You can go upstairs and ask her. This bitch, she fucking starts crying, laughing. For some reason, we had a newspaper in our bedroom. That's what she gives me to, put this fucking flame
fan it out.
A fucking newspaper. How flammable is that, right?
Oh, man.
Dude, and thinking about it, and I told the story, my aunt, they always want me to for some reason, every time they introduce me to somebody, they're always like, "Hey, tell them about lighting the fart on fire," right? So, dude, it was slow motion in my fucking. But I remember, I couldn't go anywhere. I mean, my bed was pretty close to the wall anyway, and yeah, this fucking flame just it caught every hair, and I'm so fucking now like. I don't know if you want to know or not, but now I pretty much shave every fucking thing I can now. Shit. So if I did it now, it wouldn't do anything. But yeah, the fucking Christmas festival that we had in the bedroom that night.
That's a Christmas tree lighting right there.
Yeah, you would think, right? Minus
Holy
the fucking star on the head.
The fact that it rolled up to your chest and shit. Wow. Up into your chin. Damn.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I come up with. I don't know. That's how shit always happens. I just come up with these ideas like, oh, let's try this. And then like, oh,
you should definitely tell the insurance company.
Nah, why?
Life insurance?
You want
like,
life insurance?
We're not going to cover this guy anymore.
But you light farts on fire and then you just try dumb shit. Like, I don't know. It's just always been, I just get these fucking ideas and I always want to take it to that next step to see.
If you think about it, though, that makes you like a scientist because you're like, I have this idea. I wonder what it's going to do. It's like, imagine being the guy like in time, like being those people who invented shit and like, oh, this is a good idea. And then it turned out to be really bad.
Yeah.
Like,
why do you have second-degree burns from your dick to your fucking chin? I thought lighting a fart would be a good idea. Yeah.
Save yourself some time, get waxed.
The short bus will be picking you up on Monday. Make sure you have your helmet. God damn it.
Oh,
so, yeah,
shit.
I don't know. I mean, just like that video I posted on TikTok of doing the jackass shot, snorting the line of sugar and then spraying the lemon in your eye and then doing the shot. I mean, that was the Easter dinner. I had company over and we started drinking and I was like, hey, have you all ever seen this? And they were like, yeah, right. I was like, let's do it. And I'm like, huh. I'll hold the camera, but we're not doing it. I'm like, all right. I've already talked myself into this. Like,
so you couldn't back out? You're like, I'm going to do it?
Nah, fuck it. I mean, it's pretty much, we're playing truth or dare. Like, I'm a dare kind of person. Like, let's just do it. Fuck it. So, yeah, it's been an adventure.
Dude, I used to live in a house with some friends after high school. I went to college and I dropped out, and I met this guy through one of my childhood friends, and I started hanging out with him because my friend went off to college and I was working all the time. And this guy used to have house parties like in his apartment. Well, eventually a group of us who were there all the time partying, he was getting evicted from that apartment complex, which his lease was up anyway. But he was kind of like planning. He's like, hey, man, he liked like meeting new people and kind of like he was in that stage where he was trying to make more friends. So like he's like, oh, yeah, I just got a group of people that hang out with me all the time. They're my friends. We're just going to like rent this house out. So I don't know. Dude must have been making good money because he ended up getting a government job doing computer stuff but I eventually moved in. Like, he got this house. There were like 5 or 6 of us that lived there all the time. I was like one of the last people to move in because like I was living at my parents' house and I was coming and going. I wasn't really home a lot, and my parents were giving me shit because they're like, "Well, you're not here ever," and I'm like, "Well, I'm like, over 18." So like, I'm working, I'm doing all the things that I should be doing, and I have friends and I'm being social. Like, those are good things. Like, I could be doing drugs or fucking around and really getting into trouble, but
right.
I'm trying to stay on a straight and narrow path. Like, yeah, I'm drinking, and because at this point, I don't think I was 18. I was probably 19 going 20, maybe 20 going 21. I don't think
how the age goes? 18, 19, 20, 21?
No,
Thank you for that.
I'm trying to remember. This was after I went to college, so I think it was 19 when I started hanging out with him, and it was around 20. I just turned 20, and he got the house, and I moved in. So I wasn't quite 21, but I was the youngest out of most of the people that were in the house. So they were all of drinking
So that's the
age.
house you ended up moving into.
Yeah, and it's
So So is that the one you had on your 602 shit?
Yeah, 602. Well, that's where I
okay.
get 602 from. It was in a neighborhood in Frederick, and the house number was 602. And it was called, I think it was Huntover Lane, and we called it Hungover Lane because we were always having parties and shit. But we had this stupid idea one time of throwing this weed party. We always had like these little raves and shit. And this basement was an unfinished basement, and we had black lights and all this shit. So we'd have white t-shirts and we got colorful paint like stuff. So we would be splattering paint all over the shirts.
In a house full of guys, black lights.
No,
everywhere.
there were tons of chicks.
Oh, I was gonna
like
say,
there was a
like,
chick. There were 2 chicks that lived in the house with us. That
the
were
amount
friends.
of fucking jizz that probably would have popped up on a fucking black light is ridiculous.
There was a dude living in the basement, and he was kind of like that. Yeah, he was a big dude too. So
Don't touch the sock under the couch.
So he had like this little section where he had his bed, but the rest of the like downstairs was like, you know, the party area. So we had like little hookah things and some couches and shit down there, but we hung down there a lot, and that's where we threw all of our parties. Like we'd go upstairs and watch movies. It was kind of cool because it was like a college experience, having like all your friends hanging out in the living room watching movies together, ordering pizza, getting drunk, and just being silly and stupid and laughing a lot. So it was great. Like, those were good times, but we had this pot party. Like, I had kind of talked to them about this idea. It was like, why don't we were always drinking, like, let's do a pot party. And then it turned into a pot-only party. So you weren't allowed to drink.
Just smoke.
Just smoke. Well, I had some friends. This girl I was dating at the time had these 2 like oddball friends who you know, developed a good relationship with, and anytime like they would just kind of randomly, when I was with her, they would hit us up and we would hang out. Well, we were at the house and we were having this pot party. They hit us up, and they didn't really smoke anymore like they had at one time. So of course I was like, yeah, but it's a pot party, I'm just letting you know. I don't know if you guys want to be around that stuff. I know you don't really smoke. So they show up. We had like a ping pong table, obviously, because we did a lot of like that with drinking.
Ping pong, or used it for like beer pong?
Beer pong, pretty much. We used it a lot for beer pong.
Thought y'all were like going to be the next Forrest Gump and shit some fucking backhand.
But we had this guy, and he lived in the house. He was like a drifter. I forget his fucking name now, but
that's the dude on the couch from fucking Half Baked.
We had a couch outside on the front deck, and this dude would literally sleep outside on the couch, and then sometimes just pick a corner in the house and would fall asleep. I forget his fucking name. He was a few years older than me, because he grew up with my sister, who was like 3 years older than me. So he graduated from the same high school, but he kind of went in the military and drifted off. But he knew a lot of like I knew a lot of the people he like was friends with. Right. So we had mutual connections, and I didn't recognize him at first, but one of the guys in the house knew him really well and had been friends with him for years. But we came up with this idea where we took tennis balls, soaked them, and like, I can't remember if it was alcohol or rubbing alcohol or something, but he would light them on, and then we would have like ping pong with like, you know, fiery tennis balls and shit. Like we would come up
in the fucking house.
No, we did that out in the backyard.
Oh, so you were a little responsible.
We tried to be.
All right.
It didn't always happen. There was a lot of dumb shit that went on in the house, but we had this pot party. I invited it, and it was like we were all getting fucking stoned, having a great time. They even cleaned out the hookahs and then did it on the hookahs. Like, we had probably like 30 people in this basement, and it was just like friends of friends. So they show up, and my friends had killed the mood, and I got like in so much trouble with my friends because it was supposed to be a pot-only party. These dudes showed up with like bottles of wine and shit that they were drinking because they were going through this weird phase of they weren't drinking like beer or anything. It was weird, but I completely killed the mood. Like, everybody's having a good time. They're like, dude, what the fuck? Why did you invite them? And I was like, well, man, they're friends too. They're good dudes. Like, and they're like, fuck that. Ask them to leave.
Just because.
Just fuck the whole
the
like
wine.
Yeah, they were like, well, this is a pot-only party. They need to leave. Like, the friends I had were getting pissed at me, and they're like, why the fuck would you invite them over? Like, if they're not gonna partake. And I was like,
that's kind of fucking lame.
Yeah, I was like, man, it was weird because I was like one of the people they always like, my friends were like, oh, you know, I wasn't like the main dude, but I was always like the bring the happy to the group, like the quiet but always a happy-go-lucky kind of guy, and I would bring joy to the group. So it kind of was like a buzzkill because we were having a great time. I had a lot of other friends at this party, and then it's like the crowd, like all of them being the crowd, turned on me and then turned on them, and I was like, well, now this is awkward because these two friends of mine that I mutually developed relationships with through the girl I was dating, like, put them really out. Like they felt like, oh, we're not welcome here. And I was like, dude, these guys are cool. You guys don't know them, but they're really good dudes.
So then that was it?
That was it. It ruined the party. And it was like a one-time thing. Like, we only did that pot party like one time. Now, granted, there was a lot of like smoking in that house.
Right.
But yeah, like if that was towards the end, right before I left, like it kind of like fucked, for whatever reason, that fucked like the relationship up with some of them. Like, not me. Like, I was always kind of like, a people pleaser. But yeah, we used to do a lot of dumb shit,
man. That's fucking for real. Just I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird because
you could have brought the party back to life by like turning off the lights and playing Guess Who's in My Mouth.
Oh god. Honestly, that would have been a fucked up game. There was always more dudes, obviously. It was always more of a sausage fest, but there were a lot of chicks there, like.
Yeah, but they would who knows? Somebody could have been into it.
Right. Knowing some of them probably.
Don't say it's a dick, it's just a big clit.
Guess that. Dick or clit?
Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, man, that's fucking. But man, that living in that house was cool. It was like my college experience, like kind of like a frat, but not.
Yeah, I never had that, like that kind of living. I mean, I've had people over, and I mean, even Tracy would be like, "Oh, like you're acting like you're in high school." I'm having like sleepovers as a fucking adult. We're downstairs acting fucking foolish. So the one time I got this, it was cool as shit, man. I got this big ass TV. You know when they were
like the projection TVs?
Oh, yeah. So I bought this huge fucking thing. I bought this surround sound. Had a couple guys over. We went downstairs, and I was like, "Oh, I got this movie." So the movie, so I used to get these bootleg porn movies right from this guy. I mean, he would sell out of his, and he would always be like, "Hey dude, I got this fucked up movie you got to check out." Like, all right, cool, I'll check it out because I'm fucked up. So like,
I want to see this shit.
Yeah, right. So this movie was called Donkey Punch, right?
Oh man, I could already just.
So, and that's pretty much what it is. I mean, if you don't know what a donkey punch is, you're doing somebody from behind and you punch them in the back of the fucking head. Anyways, I'm like, hey, watch this shit. This shit's pretty funny. It was fucked up. Like, thinking about it now, the movie's fucked up. Like, it's fucked up. But, so I turn it up. Surround sound. Big fucking porn. Well, Tracy comes downstairs because, I mean, we're watching. And she's, y'all sound gay as shit down here. I wasn't sure what y'all were doing. Like, no, we're watching this movie. And she's like, really? Like, bunch of guys. I mean, it is what it is, right? But, yeah, that's how I broke in my fucking surround sound in this big 65-inch projection.
Watching a fucked up porn movie.
Watching some bootleg fucking... And then it's funny because, like, that was like a thing. I mean, at the time, because... I don't know. I guess I showed a lot of people this fucked up film because
it's like they bring it up every time you see it.
Yeah, like, hey, you want to check this out? Like, this is fucked. Because I mean, they had, so the base of it was pretty much like somebody was gonna get punched, and like it was fucked up, as I said before. But there was clips and there was food involved in some of it, and it was just a nasty fucking film. But this guy always came to the table with like, dude, I got a fucked up video for you. Like, I'm game.
He was your go-to, like, fucked up guy.
Yeah, so, like, there'll never be... If there's a chance that I can see something, even if it's fucked up, like, I'm going to watch it. Yeah, and, I mean, there's... with the internet now, as far as
it's all out there.
Yeah,
like anything.
I thought I had a good stomach for some of this shit, but even some of these, as I'm scrolling through, like, really, that's somebody's fetish? Like, that's what y'all are doing now? Then I feel old as fuck. Like, nah, I'm not. Mm-mm.
Do you remember that big that it went viral? It was the two girls, one cup.
Do I? You can ask Tracy about. So we were at a Thanksgiving dinner. So, all right, kind of a little backstory. So Tracy's aunt is what's the correct word? Mentally. I know you can't say retarded.
Oh, he has Down syndrome, or
it's not Down syndrome, but it's something else. Anyways,
autism.
I don't know. She's retarded. I know I shouldn't say that, but even if you ask Tracy's grandmother, she says her daughter is retarded, but her grandmother's also 90-some years old. But anyways, she's retarded. Her boyfriend of like 30-some years, same thing. Well, I guess he has a porn, right? He's into it. So, and they lived in PG County. Well, I guess the corner store, local store knew. So they would sell him like fucked up shit, like lactating women porn. So, like, wow. Yeah, it was a fucked up. So, and like he was a hoarder. So every now and again, Tracy's aunt and uncle and grandmother would go down there, and Tracy's uncle would find these fucking movies and like take them. But he would tell me like, dude, it's nothing like enjoyable. They're giving him like the bottom of the line shit that like nobody's gonna buy. And that was just one of the things that stuck out, was like lactating fucking gangbang shit. So anyways, so that's kind of a base of a story. But Tracy's uncle, he brought up something, a website. Oh, I think it was the Two Girls, One Cup. And I said, yeah, I've seen it. It's not my thing. Like, it makes me fucking gag. And that's only a trailer of that actual movie is what they show, that long clip. So I've said, well, have you heard of Meat Spin? Have you heard of Meat Spin?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't even know if Meat Spin is still up now, but it's somebody taking dick in the ass, and the other one is like spinning to, what's that? You spin me right round. Yeah. So, and this is Thanksgiving dinner. So he's like, he starts laughing, and I just tell him like, oh, check it out. During dinner, he's like, I'm gonna go look at it. Like, we're having a conversation. Like, he's gonna go look at it. So he goes up, he comes back down. Tracy's mom's like, I want to see. And he's like, no, you really don't. So she goes up. So she comes back down, and she's like, you're disgusting. Like, why would you even bring that up? And like, Mike's laughing. Me and Mike are laughing, which was her uncle. But then her grandmother was like, I got to see what y'all were talking about.
Oh, shit.
So Tracy's grandmother goes up, just this fucking dick. So then Tracy's mom was like, I can't believe you got my grandmother or her mother watching this shit like on Thanksgiving. Like, I mentioned it. I didn't say like, hey, let's stop what we're doing and go watch this nasty
that's
fucking
wild.
Yeah, so it's always, and I don't even know what the conversation of how we started, and I know it's not a dinner conversation, but her uncle Mike, who recently just passed away, he was a big movie guy, so we connected about that. Like, yeah. So, and then, I mean, obviously he's a freak. So I mean, some of the shit was just funny, but like I said, Tracy's grandmother was like 96 years old. So, and this was probably, I mean, she was definitely in her 70s, early 80s by the time this happened.
Holy shit, man.
Hey,
but think about it. She lived a long time, so I'm sure she's seen a lot of fucked up shit.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. She's an awesome woman. So
she probably got a chuckle out of her, right?
Huh?
If she's like this, did she get a chuckle out of her? Or was she like,
so
ew?
She was telling me like, she was saying before, this was a bunch of years ago, that she always wanted to smoke weed. And I was like, okay, like, we'll get it. Like, that's awesome. And then she's like, I used to have this joint. She hid this joint in her underwear drawer for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years. And then she finally threw it away. She was always scared that her husband would see it. I was working the day Maryland went recreational.
Oh,
Tracy
shit.
was over at her grandmother's house. She calls me and says she wants to smoke weed. Can you get it for her? Like, okay. Well, her aunt wants her to have a gummy, not weed. And I said, no. Like, I know you might not want her to smoke, but them gummies might hit
Hard.
Yeah, at 96 years old, I was like, but sure, like, what do you? So, I ended up not going through with it, but then like she brought it up again, and I asked her like, if you really want to do this, like, we can do this. And
Yeah, but when
it's
you're
not-
at that age, who's to
who
deny
gives
you?
a fuck?
Right.
No, but
If she wants to do it,
she smoked for 60 some years, 70 years, and now like she just stopped.
yeah.
At that age, but like at that point, why? I mean, she's still healthy as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
God bless her. But and it's funny because like when I come in the house, she'll be like, "You smell so good." Like that's not cologne. That's like cigarette smoke, and that shit's nasty. And she's like, "I miss that smell so much."
Yeah.
Where if I don't smoke for a couple hours and I smell it on somebody, I'm like, that shit stinks. But
Yeah. It's
I
like
don't
that
know.
that skunky, musty, like cigarette smell.
yeah, and I don't know. I don't like the fucking smell.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's just,
But I mean, too, the only thing I'd be concerned about too is like it hits differently now. Like this medical grade shit is so much stronger, like than the shit that I smoked when I was, out of school and started getting it real big into smoking marijuana. and
yeah,
shit.
definitely. I mean, and I haven't got to participate just because of my job, and it fucking sucks. Like, I want to get comatose off this new shit. Like,
Well, see, I haven't done it in a few years because the last time I did it, it was actually, I don't remember if it was Christmas or I think maybe New Year's. I don't know. I think it was New Year's. I went to my sister's a few years ago, and I hadn't been smoking because with my job I couldn't really do it working for the government at the time, and they didn't like test us that often, probably like they should have, working with like research shit. But there was definitely a chick that worked with me that did it a lot, like almost every day. She would bring one of those pens in and do it like throughout the day, and she had like constant drama and shit in her life, so she was using that to kind of deal with all of her shit.
at least that was an excuse, right?
I supposedly, I don't know.
I mean, each their own. I'm not.
Right. But I hadn't smoked in a while, so my brother-in-law was like, "Hey, I got some stuff from a buddy at work, and you used to smoke. You want to partake?" And I was like, "Sure, man. It's fucking like New Year's Eve. I don't really care." Well, we were drinking beforehand. We were drinking like Jack Daniels. Like he had a Jack and Coke. I was like, "Nah, man. I'll just drink it straight. I like Jack Daniels. I know it's harsh, but I could just." Fill my glass, I'll drink it, and I'll be good the rest of the night. Well, I didn't really like plan on smoking, so I was like, "Oh, sure, why not?" He's lighting up a joint, so pass that shit. And we started smoking, and I felt good. And then all of a sudden, we went back into the house, and and like my nieces and my nephew were all there, and you could smell it throughout the house. They knew. Like, so my sister's pissed off at the both of us, but more so at her husband. It's like, what the hell? Now the house smells like, fucking marijuana, and the kids are around and shit. She's like, so they're all like shaming us, but then we're just laughing. And when my brother-in-law drinks or gets kind of like fucked up, he gets like his voice is kind of high pitched, but it gets even higher, and his face gets really red, like he lights up, and of course, he's like all over the place and getting geeky, like geeking out and shit. And I'm just sitting there like normal, just like, yeah, chilling. And he's like, "Man, clearly your brother handles this pretty well." I was like, "Well, not to toot my own horn, but I was a huge pothead." So yeah, man, like this ain't like I'm not that fucked up. Like I'm fucked up, but I'm not that fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna take more than that. It wasn't until like I guess the effects of the alcohol, which before when I was younger we drank and partied like at the house I lived in that we spoke about earlier. Like I would drink and do all that, but like I kind of spaced things out, and I didn't try to like if I was gonna smoke, I would smoke beforehand, and then just drink a little bit because I knew if I drank too much, it'd fuck me up. So or I'd just stick to drinking, or just stick to smoking, and just kind of
One or the
mingle
other
or
type
whatever.
shit, yeah.
Right? Because I one time I mixed it when I lived there, and I was dating the same chick at the time. And I fucked up real bad, and then I woke up and like in the middle of the night and like got sick, was like kind of comatose, so I was like out of it and shit. Next morning I woke up, my whole like side of my bed's covered and shit, and I'm like, oh,
And shit.
not shit, but like, you know, all the alcohol came back up. I had nothing in
I
my
thought
body.
you were laying in like shit.
Well, no. Like just, you know,
Puke.
I puked all over the
okay.
goddamn place. So it was like all over my arm and all over my bedspread.
Nice and
and
cold.
shit. Yeah, and it reeked real bad. So I had to clean it up. And I just remember being like, having to go to work like the next day, like cleaning that shit up and then going to work and feeling like shit the rest of the day. So I was like really out of it. So I didn't like after learning that lesson when I was younger and partying a lot, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, and I just completely like forgot about all that. So as we're like drinking and I smoke and I go inside, and her house is like the get together for like a few things. Like for St. Patrick's, we'll go there. Sometimes New Year's Eve or around Christmas, we'll go to her house. Like because I've got other siblings, so we'll kind of like move around as each like holiday comes up. We'll go to each other's houses or whatever. But there was just a lot of people in her home. Like all the family was there, so it got hot. And I know as I kind of like separated myself from everybody and sat in the kitchen when everybody else was in the dining room, like living room area. And I just started getting like cotton mouth real bad, like dried out. So I started like, I went to the fridge, got water, and I'm sitting there and my brother-in-law comes over and he's like, are you okay? Are you feeling the effects now? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm just kind of feeling kind of hot and dizzy, like all of a sudden. And I'm just sitting there drinking water. So then finally I just go like out their kitchen to the back porch they have. And it's cold as shit out because it's wintertime. It's like probably, I don't know, it had to be like 30 degrees. It was cold enough because it had snowed a lot around that time. And I'm sitting out in the cold. And I'm feeling better because I'm not like, you know, hot anymore. But then like I got this like, I noticed like I was like, fuck man, I'm fucked. Like I'm not even all that high. I don't feel right. And my wife comes outside because she's like, well, you've been sitting out here a while. It's cold as shit. And you're not wearing like your jacket or anything. And I was like, dude, I was hot. She's like, well, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And like, I just noticed like I was like, I don't feel good. And then like my wife was sitting there and my brother-in-law came out and sat out there with me. And he's like, you sure you're okay? And my wife was concerned because she's like, you're not like breathing. Your face is changing colors. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I was still talking and stuff, but I was like, I just don't feel good. And my wife's like, you're not breathing, breathe. Like I almost forgot how to breathe. I had to think about it. So like, so since that time, I haven't like, I don't really even drink that much anymore. Like I used to drink a lot.
Yeah.
With my buddies because they were all bachelors and I was like the first one to kind of grow up and get married and shit. So like I was always around a lot of drinking and a lot of smoking and shit, and I kind of like got away from it. So I don't like I have stuff at home like on the shelf, but I don't drink that often. It's more of like a occasional or a social gathering sort of thing now for me.
Yeah, I'm not a big drinker now, but I mean if I have people over, I don't know. I feel like I don't drink because I know the beast that I grew up around and family and watched a bunch of shit with drugs and alcohol. But if I start drinking, I like to entertain. So I want to bring the fucking party to life, even if it's just a couple people to get together. So once I start, we're going 110
all the way.
Oh fuck yeah.
Yeah, you just kick it
So
out.
I mean, and every time we've gone out, it's entertained many a fucking people. All but Tracy. She's never fucking
She's like, I
entertained.
hate this.
She does. I mean, but like, people want us to go out. Why?
See, when I drink,
feed William drinks. Like,
entertain me.
Right.
Bring those.
It's
I
fun
feel
for
like
everybody.
it's
What the
true.
fuck?
It's true about alcohol though. Like it brings the walls down because for me, it's like I'm kind of like, as I've gotten older, I've gotten more kind of recluse in life. So like, yeah, I have friends. We pick up where we left off, but it's more of like a every once in a while. And I think that's normal when you have a family and you buy a home and you're working all the time and running kids to sports and doing all that. But for me, it's like I'm more of a quiet guy. Like I'll go home and that's my sanctuary. Like I go out and stuff, but it's more like with the family. So it's like a lot of just kind of me chilling and kind of hiding. Really, it's silly, but that's kind of like what my life has become, which is kind of to some people it's probably sad, but I don't know, man. I just feel comfortable in my space. So
Yeah, and that's part of the reason. Like, if we go out or get a crew together, I mean, it definitely takes me to that next level where I'm like, less fuck it, let's do this type shit. And I mean, I don't know, it entertains people. I mean,
yeah, like I it's almost like some of those like I want to say it's some of those things that like are on my mind that I'm worried about or how it come off like disappear. If I have a few drinks, I get real silly
mm-hmm.
and I get goofy, and those are like my best moments socially with people. So I try not to do that a lot, but when I do, I indulge.
Yeah.
And like we'd kind of do the same thing. Like I had moments of like where I'd be real silly and goofy and happy, and then other moments I'd have like I get real methodical and deep in the thought, and it'd be like some deep shit. And I'd have like these really like deep scientific like conversations with people, and I couldn't do that with everybody because some of my friends are like, you lost me.
Yeah.
Like, but since that time at my sister's, I couldn't like, I don't know. Since then, I've been kind of afraid to like smoke, and the shit that he had was like more of the current medical grade shit. And I was like, well, I was used to like middies and headies and like getting that crappy get from some field from some guy, some firm, right. So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's because the shit's more potent or maybe the drinking, because I'm sure the drinking had probably beforehand, because we were drinking for a few hours beforehand. That's what fucked me up. But I've kind of been like nervous about it because I'm also not as healthy as I was when I was younger doing all that shit. I was way more active. Like I'd become a old fat dad. So it like hits me differently now, and I've been just kind of nervous to like get into it again. And my job, like they don't really drug test you unless you fuck up and get hurt at work, and I'm pretty careful about shit anyway, but I haven't touched it at all.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
I don't know. Drugs and alcohol, I feel, make shit better to a point. I mean, I fucking hate getting drunk. Well, not me.
If you're going to commit to one thing, I commit to one now.
People get violent or fucking stupid, want to fight. Like, I'm total opposite.
Yeah, I'm more of a laid back. It chills me out.
I'm definitely not laid back, but
I get chilled out.
So definitely drinking wise, I'm ready to party. I almost pull like a Burt Kreischer even here. Like the shirt's coming off. Like I'm ready to fucking. I mean, shit. We had some people over a couple months ago. I got fucked up and everyone's still here. I'm laying on the bathroom. Like I'm having conversation, but I'm like, just don't
on
fucking.
The floor.
Yeah, so Tracy's like, you gotta get up. You gotta get the. No, these motherfuckers know what door they came in. They can leave the same way. Like they know me. They know this is where.
This is Will.
I fair warned them, like, hey, once we get this going, we're in it, right? And they were entertained like shit. I mean, when we hung out again, they're like, are you gonna drink?
I brought my video camera.
We'll have to see. Oh man, there's so much shit from the camcorder days that I'm glad doesn't exist now from being a teenager and shit.
Somebody, one of your friends is gonna watch this and they're gonna fucking be like, oh yeah, I've got this video.
And that's fine. I'll put it on there. I don't give a fuck. That's like I don't care. Yeah. I mean, I'll talk about whatever, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah.
No, I do remember this one time. Speaking of weed, we used to go over. I don't want to out the person. So we used to go over to these people's houses. And I'm talking like Tuesday, you come in, you get your fucking McDonald's tray with weed on it. You pretty much go to the cabinet. You can pick your smoking utensil and like sit there, watch TV. She'll cook like a Thanksgiving Day fucking meal. I mean, like, yeah, this is the shit, right? So, I remember it clear as fucking day. I'm sitting on the. She had a couch, and then like one of those big fucking chairs. So I'm sitting on the chair. I got a bowl, and Tracy's like sitting right here on the floor beside me. So like she takes it, and she hits it. She's just like something. It doesn't taste right. So like I was like, "Are you done?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm done for the night." I'm looking at this fucking tray full of weed, and I'm just like, "Sucks to be you," because I'm fucking
going.
I'm going to fucking town on this shit. Like, I mean, it's there. Fuck it, I'm smoking it. So then, like a little bit later, like I'm chilling back. We're watching TV, and I start thinking of fucking Jimi Hendrix for some reason, and I don't know how he died, but I always heard like he was choking on like puke or his tongue or something in that thing. So I don't know. Something happened where I was like, I'm gonna fucking die in this chair. So at the time I had my tongue pierced. So I'm sitting in the chair and I'm holding my fucking tongue ring like this so I don't swallow my tongue, right?
Oh shit.
So I'm just like chilling. So finally I kick Tracy. Like just tap her with my foot. Like I don't want to cause any attention where I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm gonna get sick. That's how I thought I said it. The woman that we smoked with, she's in the kitchen. Well, I must have sounded like, hey, I'm about to fucking throw up. Like loud as shit. I'm hollering it. I think I'm whispering it. She comes running out. She's like, William, you better not throw up on my fucking couch. I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, no, you're not fucking good. Like, you're turning green. Like, go to the fucking bathroom. And I was like, it's a waste of time. Like, she's like, I don't give a fuck. Go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom. I fucking just barf fucking so much. So she's like, look, go home. Like, you're done for the night. Like, so Tracy's fine because she wasn't doing anything. I get and she gives me the a trash can, like the bathroom trash can, in case I don't make it. And I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm good. So we back out of the fucking spot. As soon as the movement hits me, I'm filling this fucking trash can up, right?
Oh.
So she lives like, I don't know, 6 or 7 houses in before you get to a stop sign. Tracy pulls up to the stop sign. I'm like, thank God. I open the fucking door, close the door. Tracy's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm glad we're home. We haven't even left the fucking street yet.
Oh,
so she's like, what the fuck? And I was like, look, we're good. So I get back in the car. I just need like the air on. So I roll down the window. Well, then all of a sudden, I'm almost thinking like I'm in fucking Star Wars at this point, right? Now this was a good night. I mean, it was fucked up, but like remembering it, like I wish I could get this high like all the time.
Right.
So I'm like in it. Like I'm racing one of these fucking things in Star Wars. Well, then Tracy comes up on like a car, like a stoplight, and I'm like bawling. I'm reaching for the old shit handle. I'm like, you're gonna fucking kill us.
Light speed.
Right? And she's like, will you shut the fuck? I'm like 30 feet away. I was like, you're right on this fucking car. Like, I'm scared as shit. Then I start like crying and shit. I was like, yeah, you gotta get me home. I'm fucking done.
Holy fuck, man.
I was so fucking baked. Like, oh my God, it was the fucking, but like the whole fucking riding in the Star Wars shit, like, that's the shit, man. That's what you fucking
That's
get
like
high
the experience,
for, right?
man.
Yeah, but
it's being outer body like
then
experience.
I've also fucked with people like driving in a car. We used to, the guy that actually he lived in my basement. He passed away. David. We rolled a blunt one day on the way home, and we were smoking, and he got fucking paranoid, like bad. There was a car behind us. He kind of cut him off. And he was like, this woman's following us. Well, I started fucking geeking. So I was just making it worse. I was like,
oh, she's definitely following.
dude, she's writing down your fucking tag. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, He's like, and I was like, she's on her cell phone. She's calling the fucking cop. And I can't even fucking breathe because all the dumb shit I'm thinking and saying to this fucking dude
getting him going
is making me. Oh, but he's so fucking paranoid. So we end up coming off of what is that road? Snuffer School to like 355. So like a little south between Germantown and Clarksburg area. So by the time we get to like the Boyds, there's like a car dealership over here, and there's like a little gas station and something. Well, he pulls in this fucking lot, parks his fucking car, turns the key off, like walks away from the car. I mean, he was so fucking paranoid.
Yeah.
And I couldn't fucking breathe, dude. I was laughing and I was just instigating this shit. Like, I mean, I don't think she wasn't even on her fucking phone.
Yeah.
Like, but I kept turning like,
maybe she is.
Oh my God, she's fucking calling the. He was so fucking paranoid. It was hilarious. But
dude, I have my wife doesn't smoke like that at all. And when we first started dating, before we got married, like I was kind of getting out of smoking because I was focusing on work and trying to like figure shit out to actually like build some sort of life with her, and thinking that, you know, if it worked out, we're going to do this thing. And so we went on a cut ride one time. One of our friends, who he actually passed away, supplied us because he was a dealer. And we went on a cut ride, just me and her. Because we were with them in a car when we got the shit, and it was real sketchy. Like, I didn't know these dudes that well. We were sitting in the back. They were just kind of doing errands or whatever. We got the shit. Finally, they dropped us off back at, like, where he lived, and we got in our car, and we were driving around. We're like, well, before we go home for the night, let's go on a cut run. So we did that. And we were completely the opposite. Like, I was in a good mood, so I had a good high going. And we're just driving around listening to music. In fact, we were listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers' Blood Sugar Sex Magic album. And I would sing along to it while we were riding around. And we were into it, but then she would get paranoid. Like, she couldn't smoke with me because then she would pull me out of my happy, like, you know, good time vibe. And then I would get paranoid. I'm like, okay, you're freaking me out. Like, so I'm checking mirrors. And I've got ADHD, so, like, when I drive, I'm always very attentive to my mirrors and, like, my speed and shit anyway.
Right.
And I couldn't. We finally got back to the apartment complex, and at the time that, like, where I was living, because she lived with her sister in a condo, and I was living in the same town, but down the street in, like, some apartment with, like, somebody that she knew, a mutual friend that kind of rented the apartment, and I was just kind of paying him money to live with him as his roommate. And this dude was like an alcoholic, so he, you know, was in and out all the time. And I didn't know at the time, but he was spending all of our rent money on booze. And eventually, like, they came and evicted us, and I got out before they evicted us because I wasn't even on the lease, like, at all. I just kind of came there and was living there for some months, and while I was dating her. And so, but we got there, and she got even more paranoid. Well, the local police in this town would, like, they would do a score. There was a business next to where I was living, and they would send the local cop would, like, do, like, a thing every night where he'd kind of drive around, check the businesses, and then drive off. Well, I guess he pulled someone over who was speeding or whatever, but we heard the sirens, and we were hanging out in the room I had. It had like a big old fucking window where I used to leave the window open, especially during the summer because it get real hot, and the AC. This guy would not turn the AC on, and he would get pissed if I turned it on. So I was like, well, fuck it. I'll open the window. So she heard the sirens and, like, she was already paranoid because we smoked a lot, like, an hour before that, and she was, like, still fucked up. And she was, like, standing at the window. She's like, oh, my God, they know. They're going to get us. They're going to know. And I was like, oh, we're fine. We don't have anything. Like, we smoked everything.
Right.
like, we're good. But she was just sitting at this window getting, like, freaked out. And I'm like, then she started getting me freaked out. And I was like, I can't do this with you anymore. like, I can't. And it wasn't long after that. Like, I stopped doing it because, you know, it wasn't legal then. And it was a pain in the ass to, like, know somebody who could get it for you because it wasn't as accessible as it is now where you can go to, like, a dispensary and all that shit. So, like, it was always having some sort of connect and shit like that, and it was always like a pain in the ass. And at that point, everybody that I knew lived like way too far to like go drive like 50 miles, 60 miles down the road. Like I wasn't gonna do that, so I wasn't that committed to it anymore.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck it.
Fucking quitter.
Yeah. Well, and then I don't know, man, like the parent side of me came out because once I had my kid, like there was a while there when I was working and I would use it to help me go to sleep because I wasn't sleeping really good at night. And I would wait till he was like down in bed and they had no idea. Like even my stepdaughter had no idea. Like I was very careful about doing it. I didn't do it in the apartment. I would do it away from where we lived and stuff. Like I'd go out on a cut run by myself, do it, come home, and then kind of unwind in bed.
Mm.
So I always try to like keep it very private and quiet. Like my wife knew, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it helped me get to sleep because I had problems sleeping. But it would ease me out. Like when I was younger and like was in my 20s, like I would do in the morning like a nice bowl, like a wake and bake, and then I'd go to work and I'd work all day and pull a second shift as a manager at the time. And it would help me get through the day, but I didn't want to be too fucked up that I couldn't like function at work, especially being in management. Like I didn't want to like, you know, I'd had employees that would come and actually bring shit and offer me shit. And I'm like, dude, we're working. I can't. And they'd be like, fuck it, man. It's like fast food. Nobody cares. And it's like, yeah, man, but I can't do that. It's just like that responsibility part of me, like, is something my parents drilled into me, like, growing up. So it's like, nah, this isn't the right thing to do. I just can't do it yet. I'll do it when I get off of work.
Yeah. Well, one of my proudest moments, well, I say proudest moments, like I'm a fucking, maybe that's not the right word, but I was glad or proud where Tracy wasn't happy with this moment. My cousin graduated. She got her nursing degree, and she had a big party. I think that was when she got her nursing. And like I've DJ'd for years, so I've DJ'd a bunch of families, friends of family or whatever. So a lot of these people were at this party. Well, being a DJ, I've always tried to stay professional as possible.
Yeah.
So I've never gotten fucked up or stupid. So, like by the end of the night, people are like, "Oh my God, I've never seen this side of William before. Like he's crazy." I mean, one of my good friends now, it was one of the first nights I met him, and I didn't know him from shit. Like I knew he was her boyfriend, but like he was new on the scene. It wasn't somebody, you know what I mean? But
yeah, not like a regular you knew. Or
I mean, he could have had whatever, but I was taking drinks out of his hand, and I mean, I was fucked up. So I don't know. A couple hours into it, like Tracy had a couple drinks, but she wasn't. She was good. Like she knew we had to get home, so she stopped. Well, by then I'm in it, right? So we're in it, and people are entertained, right? So I'm dancing, and I mean, I even pull like the chair where Tracy was sitting up on the dance floor, and I'm like giving her a lap dance in front of everybody.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck at this point. So my aunt comes to me and she says, "Hey, when we leave here, I'm taking Logan." And I said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Tracy's good." And she said, "Lo came and asked, hey,
oh shit,
my dad's drunk. I don't want to ride with him." Well, like that's good because I mean, when would she? I would say Logan was probably only like 6 or 7. So I mean, even the talks then of trying to steer her, you know what I mean? Like, don't get in the car with the drunks.
right?
But she's going to like family members, like, can you give me a ride home at that age? Where I'm like, good, like she's listening, right? Where Tracy's like, oh, we're such bad parents. Like, oh, nah, fuck that. Like, Daddy did let loose. Like, you seen it.
Yeah. Well, shit. I mean, growing up, my parents used to let loose when they would do family get-togethers.
Yeah, but I mean, there's
friends,
also
parties.
kind of drinking to like, oh my God, like what the fuck is he doing? I mean, it's funny because I still get videos from that night. I got a video the other week that my cousin sent me. I was like, look at this, what I found. Like, ugh. Like, I remember that night. But nah, like, that's a proud thing. I mean, she was that young and was able to still
stand our own and say, hey, no.
I guess in other eyes, it's like, oh, we did wrong. No, we didn't do wrong. This is what we know else.
No, but I mean, I think, like, I don't know, being a parent and stuff, like, you're not perfect either. Like, parents
I don't claim to be.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, parents, like, our parents weren't perfect, and that's, like, as a kid, sometimes I think you think, like, oh, my parents, like, they don't make mistakes. We're still learning.
Yeah, but like, I mean, even basic shit, like, I'm sure I've raised Logan where other people would be like, oh my God, like,
yeah.
I mean, even as a toddler, like, language was never a big deal to me. I mean, I say fuck all the time. It's just my normal, you know what I mean, conversation. But even to watch Logan play with blocks as a toddler and it fell over and she's like, shit. Well, at least she's not just cussing to cuss. You know what I mean?
Like she's having a reason to say
yeah,
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then I'm like, oh, well, fuck it. When she gets to elementary school and these kids are like, look what word I heard. And she's like, I've been saying that since motherfucker.
That's child's play. Yeah.
Like, yeah, so I don't know. It's just.
I think that's normal. That's pretty normal for today, though. I think if you think about, like, the shit that kids say now, it's, like, far worse than what we were saying.
I don't think so.
I think so. Some of the shit, like, you gotta think, a lot of parents don't parent their kids now. Like, not the way that you, like.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's just words. I don't know.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't know.
But I feel like some of the like, I think with the internet and YouTube and all this stuff.
Yeah, but they're not saying any new words. There's no new words that mean.
No, but the content that they're able to see, like, it's so instant. So I feel like stuff you would try to shield your kids away from, it's, like, just there. Like, it's easier to access for them. And they're so good with, like, technology and phones and all that kind of shit. Like, even at younger ages now, it's like they have access to, like, they're not sheltered at all. Like, they have access to shit. So kids learn about all this shit way sooner than, like, I would have. I mean, shit, my dad used to cuss and get mad and say shit. And we heard all that growing up.
Yeah, but you still have parents out here that are like, oh, my kid doesn't say that. Oh, they never heard that.
But that's,
like,
I'm sure there's a few like that.
Have you listened to these little motherfuckers at school with their friends?
It's like, not as common,
they say it.
Like, it's not as common to be like, oh, my kids don't say it. Like, they're surrounded with around that shit now. So it's like, even for the kids that do behave well, it's probably
I
more.
hear it all the time, though. People still don't. They want to hold that fucking halo above their kid's head when their kid's probably one of the worst little assholes ever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like that. Even like the adults I have on Facebook, the people who are pushing, oh, say amen, and we got the greatest God, and like all this bullshit, is the people who are living the most fucked up,
like dreaming, like
yeah,
this,
like y'all
this
are
false
steadily throwing stones, but you're living in this fucking glass house, and like, okay, I don't know, it's I guess it all ties back into beliefs and religion or whatever, but
yeah,
I mean, at the end of the day, if you're that person, you can't pick and choose your sin to benefit you as a person. So like, okay, this is what you do, and it's all these fucking sins, and then you're gonna post comments on like gays or whatever. Okay, so this guy likes the taste of dick, but you're doing a lot work. You know what I mean? Like, you can't pick and choose.
Well, when it comes to religion too, like, you're not supposed to turn people away. You're supposed to bring people to Christ. So for me, that's kind of where I've been like...
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so fucking... And I even talked to a preacher one day because he was trying to, like, ask me what's my beliefs and shit. And I grew up in church, and the older I get, the more it's just... I don't know. But I was like, honestly, man, I feel like the biggest religious people I've been around are the biggest fucking hypocrites. And
I'm right there with you.
I don't want to base if you have religion that makes you happy.
Yeah, I think faith is good. But as I've gotten older, because I grew up in a family that was pretty religious, like, and two different, like, my dad was a hardcore Catholic growing up. He was like an altar boy. He wanted to become a priest or at one point, and then his dad died real young, so he actually at that time his mom, like, he had to provide. So he ended up going to school, got his shit together because he wasn't a strong student. He went to college and got into the hospitality business of running hotels. So he kind of like took over that responsibility, wised up real quick because he realized, like, oh shit, now my mom's depending on me.
Right.
Because she
You
didn't
had to
work.
grow up quick.
Right. And then during that time period, like, a lot of women didn't work. So like he had to do that shit to just do what he had to do. It was the right thing to do. And it was like what he felt was just what he had to do. It was expected almost. So he wised up, but like, I guess for me, like, religion was always kind of a big thing for us. Like, we were Christian and all that stuff. And religion's like good for the things that it's really good at. And I'm kind of half and half. As I've gotten older, I'm more spiritual now than I am religious. A lot of the faith and the morals and the belief system that I was raised up on, a lot of it still is very instilled into me, but I'm also realistic too. So for me, it's like, kind of like you were saying, as I've gotten older, I've noticed more and more the people that I've always looked to as very faithful, I've also turned out to be the worst gremlins that I've ever met, because they paint this picture that, oh, I'm holy, I'm faith in Christ and this and that, everything's Jesus and this and that. And I'm okay with people having faith, and that's great. Like, you take that seriously and that's your thing, like, and you try to be a good person. But I also feel like, but then they bash people who go through rough times. Like, and for me, it's like, if you read the Bible and all that, like, Jesus kind of sought out people who were sinners. He chose sinners, like, as people to follow him. You know what I mean? So, like, you can be angry but I feel like most of these people now go to church. Not all, but there's a lot of people who are the biggest hypocrites. They do all this fucked up shit. Then they go to church on Sunday and they're just like, my sins are washed away. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this dude's cheating on his wife, and there's all sorts of problems in their marriage, but they go to church on Sunday and everything's okay now.
Yeah, everyone smiles for a Facebook picture.
Yeah, and I'm like, that to me is like, I would rather be, imperfect and know I'm imperfect and be like, I have my faith if that's what you're into, but at least I'm not full of shit. And I treat everybody the way I want to be treated. Sure, I have a bad day sometimes or I get pissed off.
Yeah, but then it's also, if you have religion, but it's not your religions, you know what I mean? It's
right.
Not Christianity or fucking whatever.
Right.
Well, then it's wrong because that Bible.
Because that's not correct. But if you look at all religions, I feel like they all have that common denominator of there being one God or one Christ or prophets and all that. Like, I feel like there's that one underlying, like, yes, they have their different, like, belief systems or like their codes or whatever of conduct and, rules they have to abide by and how they pray or their traditional shit. But I feel like they all have that common, like, one major being. And so for me, it's like they fight, like, especially Catholics and, like, Christians, they fight all the time over faith and these debates, and it gets real nasty. And I'm like, you all are religious people, can't you? Like,
right. Well, now you got the Jewish in the news now just because the shit that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of things.
And I just don't understand, like, you all have faith. Those are things that you all should connect on. Like, yes, you have different beliefs and all that, but why be so, like, to me, it's not something worth fighting over. Like, you have your thing, they have their thing.
No, because who gives a fuck?
So you do your own shit and just live amongst each other like we do. Like, I don't...
Do you.
Yeah, you do you, and if somebody comes to you and wants to know what you're about and is willing to, like, learn your shit, maybe convert, then cool, but...
Yeah, I went to a Catholic church with my friend growing up, and they did, like, a mass type shit, and I don't know, in the church I went to before, you get, like, the little fucking miniature shot glass of the juice.
Oh, the juice, cranberry juice, and the little cracker.
The cracker or whatever. Well, this Catholic church... Like, everyone drank from the same fucking bottle. And, like, it was weird, but, like, he wiped it and kind of jammed it in my face, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good." And like kept.
You do not accept the blood of Christ.
Yeah, it was pretty. So like, then I'm thinking like, is this what you do to your cock, like with the altar boys? I mean, like he was pretty fucking like pushing
Forceful.
this fucking bottle of wine in my fucking like down my throat.
Here, little boy.
But yeah, like I was just like, what the fuck? Like this is crazy. Like I don't want the motherfucker's blood. Like
he's like, you need Christ.
nah, because they would just turn the cup type shit like with this cloth. Like, well, by the time you turn that cup 2 or 3 times, that's
everybody's lips have touched
cloth.
it. Yeah.
So I don't
wiping
know.
the same shit all over
But
the
then you
same.
like at that, and then you get this fucking religious group has pushed these fucking pedophiles throughout every time they get caught or whatever to protect them. Like, so now your religion base is based on fucking kids. Like, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of like I think faith is good in a lot of sense, but there is a lot of like questionable shit in faith. So that's why I've become very like spiritual. Not to bash faith or anybody's religion, because if that's what's good for you, I'm not gonna give you shit for it.
No, I don't care. I mean, each person, but don't
for
judge me on what I do.
But for me, I have my things that I was brought up on, and then what I've lived through and the experiences, and I mean, I have a belief in God. I mean, I've questioned a lot of shit throughout my life, but like, there's been things in my life like I'm like, well, there's definitely something that's beyond my understanding that's out there, and I can continue to like research and look into it. But at the end of the day, I'm just happy to be alive and have, even with all the bad shit, like I'm just lucky to have learned the shit I have and lived through the things I have and turned out to be who I am, because I could be completely like a big shithead, but I think I've had a pretty good head on my shoulders, and I've just been kind of blessed.
Yeah, and I love your stained glass windows of your white Jesus. That's so fucking amazing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I don't like, I don't know. I think for me, it's like I've always questioned, is there one? But I've always like, and I can be completely wrong, but I don't know. I guess having that want to believe that something exists.
Yeah, but how many fucking words have changed the meaning over time?
Of course.
Right?
Well, and how many times has the Bible been translated?
That's what I'm saying.
Like
yeah.
There's lost knowledge and stuff that's probably not there. And then I feel like religion has always been used as a tool to keep people in line. So for me, it's like, so
like the 10 Commandments type shit.
Right. So the more I look into it, like I've noticed it's like, oh, it's being used as a tool. Like it could be a complete fabricated lie, but it's helped keep people in line for so long.
The government does it every fucking day with the media. I mean,
right. And then they use it as a weapon too, to like take over shit and control other things, and have a reason to go to war and do shit and feel threatened. Like, so I feel like there is a lot of good stuff in faith, and I don't want to like bash anybody's like, I don't know, perception or like views
we're not
on.
bashing anybody.
But I do feel like at times it's hard for me to like, not that I don't believe, like I have my own things and they're different from other people, but I feel like that's why I connect more on a spiritual level. Like I feel like you should try to be a good person. No, we're not going to be perfect all the time, and it's not an excuse to be like, oh, I'm forgiven.
Do you need a fucking book to be told to be a good person?
No, and I think for me it's really hard, because there's times like being a people pleaser where I've always tried to take the high road, whatever it is. I've always tried to do the best, like the good thing in my mind, which is like being a good person, even when it's really hard to be a good person. Like, in hopes that it'll pay off someday. Like, and I could be completely wrong and be stupid for that, but I'm like, I would rather do the right thing even when it's hard to do it, or it doesn't seem like the right idea to just take the high road.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that's not fucking, you don't need religion for that.
No, but that's why I say I'm more spiritual.
Assholes, right. No matter what, not just religion. Like, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm so... Great, you signed up to be a fucking military and fight for this country. Great, but if you're a fucking asshole, I'm not gonna treat you like you were on some fucking pedestal if you were a fucking dick before. Like,
right.
I just,
that doesn't just change you because you decide to like do that.
Yeah. So,
or because you have religion, now you're perfect.
but being a decent person, it shouldn't take the effort. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it should come natural.
Right.
And we're not all perfect. It's something that you can gradually get better at. I think that's just part of life.
No, because there's times and people that I know I'm a dick to, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's not hard to fucking be a decent person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's part of like growing too, because like I've had friends that were really shitty people at times, and then as they've gotten older, like they made a lot of mistakes. They went to jail or they did these things, and then they, like as they got older, they reflected and they changed and they wanted to be better, and they had no faith at all. Like
Yeah.
they just
Plus, I hate like if people get caught up in drugs or go to jail or whatever, then they all of a sudden
they're looked at like really poorly.
Yeah. Well,
And I feel like religious people do that too. They judge, and to me, that's not like it's not your thing. Like
so my buddy went to jail. He was a big drug. He was big into drugs, but he came out and it was just like he was like this God freak. Which I mean, if that helps you get to the point in your life you need to be, so be it. But don't start acting like now
you're changed
you're the
all
fucking
completely.
greatest. So he died from a heroin overdose. So he cleaned up, found Jesus. I guess Jesus didn't help him not get a bad dose of whatever. But anyways, the church he went to, I went to. That's where they had his funeral, and it was just full of fucking fate. Like the preacher was fucking amazing. Like all his words, like he really connected. Like I honestly felt like I got something out of it, like the scripture he used or how he worded it. But then I talked to him afterwards, and like I mean, everything he fucking said, there was people there like, oh, amen, oh, like just playing it way too fucking much. Like if he scratched his dick, like, oh my, oh, amen. You know what I mean? Like that's fake. That's fake as fuck. Like every word this guy's saying, you don't need to say amen or something. But
Right.
I talked to him afterwards, and he pretty much laid it out. Like, look, this church is full of ex-convicts, drug addicts. So I mean, like bums. I mean, so it was just like, and I get it. That's what he was. I don't even know where I was gonna go with this, but I mean the fakeness around it, and then just to see people's reaction. So like, even my stomach, I got this big tattoo. It's like a wolf face. I don't know. Have you ever seen it? So it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, right? And like, that's not me. And I mainly got it as what I've been around my whole life, trusting people who shouldn't be trusted. But like the looks I got when we were at not this last cruise, but the cruise before it, like this woman was like disgusted with me, like kind of said some shit. I kind of popped off and said some shit back, because like you could tell she was going with like the religious fucking route, you know what I mean? But I just don't have time. Like I said.
Yeah, but you don't have to explain yourself to, especially some fucking stranger.
I don't explain myself to any.
Yeah, you don't have to.
My parents are dead.
Right, yeah. But I mean, it could mean anything to you. It's the meaning behind your shit. But even if it was like directed towards that shit, like to each their own, like fuck off.
But it's just, you know, I mean, just came across as like holier than thou with her fucking gold cross. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
See, it's funny because I've known people throughout my entire life who were real religious, and they growing up, because we were, you know, friends of family, this and that, or really close, like around these people, like, you know, they were like great people, and I hold these people in high esteem. But then they also, like, as I got older, I noticed more and more like how judgmental they were. And I just, like, in some of the awful fucking things they would say to people or things about people, and I'm like, did your faith teach you that? Like, I don't know. And that's why I started questioning. Like, I started seeing a lot of that.
Yeah, but that's the thing. People
kind of
pick their
behavior.
fucking sins.
Yeah, and I'm just like, well, for these people that claim to be so, Like there was one particular family that was really religious, and I've always held them high, like as great people in my mind, and I love their family. But I noticed more and more like some shit happened in their family, and they became like way more like judgmental and nasty of other people. And these are the same people that believe in like bringing people to Christ, and knowing that not everybody's like perfect, and but their job is to bring those people to Christ. And instead of bringing them, depending on who it was, like there was somebody in their family and they completely blacklisted this person. And I'm like, well, why would you do that to your own family member? Like, aren't you like, you're all about trying to be there and be supportive and, help that person. Instead, they just completely, and I'm like, I don't know, my view on them kind of changed, because I love them, but it's like, they were like a second family to me, but I'm just kind of like, it turned me off.
Yeah.
Like, and when I finally like spoke like how I felt about it, like I can't, like, as they were talking about some shit, something happened with me where they asked my opinion on something, and I told them I didn't want to be in the middle of this rift between their family members, because I was close to both parties. And I respectfully was like, look, I'm sorry this is going on, but I love both sides, and I don't want to get in the middle of this, and this is just my opinion, and I just want to remain like good to both parties, and I don't want to.
Then you should have
this
left it
isn't
at
my
that,
drama.
because it's never.
I was like,
it's
this
never
isn't my
good.
drama, and I don't want to be in the middle of it, because I love all of you, and I'd rather, the less I know, the better. If you come to me in confidence and talk to me about whatever because you need to, cool, but I'm not going to speak to either party about this stuff, and I just want to, like, it's none of my business. I don't want to know.
But nobody wants your opinion if it doesn't match
Right.
theirs.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what happened. So then this one family member of that family was like pissed at me for having that opinion and being like, "Oh, well, you shouldn't listen to that person because they're a liar and they can't be trusted, and they were a drug addict." And I'm like, but this is still a person of your own family. Like, okay, you do that. And then they didn't want me to talk to them, and they were like almost telling me I shouldn't do that, and they won't talk to me if I talk to them. And I'm like, well, I finally like grew a pair of balls, and I told them, I was like, I'm not gonna not talk to them. So if that means you're not gonna talk to me now, and you want to be pissed off at me, fine, be it. But that's your choice, not mine.
Right.
And that's something you're gonna have to live with, not me. Like, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere.
Drugs are cool.
I'll always be there for you, but I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna have you. And I was a grown ass like man at this point in time when this shit happened. So it's like, you're not gonna tell me who I can talk to and who I can't to. I'm a free man. Like, it's my fucking life, and I'm not gonna be a dickhead and just go off of what you told me, because I've never had any problems with that person. And if anything, I want to be supportive of this other person who's going through shit. Like, you guys may have a rift, but I'm not involved in any of that. And I'm not going to change the way I am around somebody else to benefit you being happy, because you want me to be, like, you're going to control me to tell me not to conversate with that person. Like, if they're going through a hard time, I'd like to be there for them if they come to me. Like, I'm not going to, like, no, I don't know. It was a weird, like, situation. But I've had.
So go fuck yourself, because I'm going to go drink this Kool-Aid
and
start a cult.
And once that shit happened, they didn't talk to me. They won't say a word.
'em.
They're still close with, like, the rest of my family, but I have my opinions. Like, I don't think horribly of them, but they're very, like, I've always held them and to a very, like, high standard in my, like, life. I always looked at them as, like, really good religious people, but that turned me off to faith a lot through that interaction. So, like, around that time, I was like, I started looking deeper into it, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, religion's good, but for me, it's like half and half. Like, so I'm more spiritual now. I believe in more other shit and just kind of just being a good person and doing the right thing for me based on what I was brought up on and the experiences of life that I've had from a kid, but more now into adult. Like, a lot of the stuff that I believed in, I've grown up to believe that, like, certain things were like just a red line. And I was like, man, my life was a lie growing up. Like a lot of this stuff
Sounds
that
like
I
you're
was told.
picking and choosing what you want to take from it too.
Right. So for me, it's like, but mine, it's like the stuff that a lot of the stuff was like you said, hypocritical. Like some of the stuff isn't like when I read the Bible, it was like all this shit that they're preaching isn't even shit that's like it's preaching the like in the Bible, it's the opposite of what they're saying. Like you're not supposed to be judging people.
Yeah.
Like you're not the judge, jury, and executioner. That's supposedly God's job to judge you. That's what I mean.
There you go again with the Bible, but it's
so that's why for me it's like I got away from the religious thing more so. Like I have my beliefs.
Are you what, like a sun, moon, star kind of person?
No, not like that spiritual. But I guess when I say spiritual, it's not really like dancing out in the wolves or down out in the woods and like paganism and that kind of shit. It's more of like in the collecting of the little like stones and shit. Not like that.
That's a big fucking thing.
Yeah,
now,
I know.
Man. There's stone stores every fucking
like in the
where.
fucking hippies and shit. I'm not like that. I just believe like the karma thing. Like you put good out there, good will come back.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
And you just and it's never. It's not. Sometimes I mean, well, it's very far in between. But and see, so for mine, it could be completely bullshit too. But I don't know. I just try to wake up and be a good person every day. Sometimes it's hard to do that, but I just try to be that guy that like we've all got problems. I try to be as like real about shit, and I just try to be the guy who's there to help somebody when I can. Like there's times I can't. Like if I had money to help somebody, the things I'm thinking about is like, but can I afford to do this? Like if I don't have the money, I can't. I'll do what I can, but that's where I'm limited at. Like,
yeah.
I can't give you the world. I can only give you what I know I can give you, because I have to still survive too. Like
right.
I've got a family and other people.
No, I definitely feel like I'm a kind of guy that would give you the shirt off his back if needed.
Yeah, I mean, I would do anything to help somebody, but I've also been burnt doing that so many times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then some of the times I've done that, it's benefited those people and things have worked out. And there's other times that people have used me because of my goodwill nature to do things like that. And then I find out later on and I'm like, well, fuck. Now I can't be like that with that person because I don't trust them and they've burned me. And, I've only ever been loving and like good to that person. And it turned around, it's like, now I have trust issues. It's hard for me to trust people because your intentions are good, but then you find out they're fucking horrible fucking people. And I'm like, wow. Well, now I kind of regret helping them.
Yeah. I mean, that's most of the people you'll come in contact with, honestly. Like, I mean, I have a handful of people that one I talk to or trust to the fullest, or I know I can go with conversation of anything to, certain people.
Yeah.
But yeah, and because I've also felt I've had friends, their parents have passed or whatever, and I've been beside them, like, fucking the day before, the day of the funeral. Like, I mean, I've been there constantly, and then, like, when my mom or dad passed, it was, like, a phone call, which is fine. Like, I don't need you, but it's
good to know you have support.
Person you are.
Yeah, you're a true friend. You're always going to be there, regardless.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, people are fucking shitty.
Yeah. Well,
so you want to sign up for this call I'm trying to start?
Yeah. Give me that call. Yeah, you best be calling me now.
It's not going too good based on YouTube numbers right now, but
yeah, give me a call. It's like, let me go over to my cell phone real quick.
I actually have a little religious thing. I'm gonna wear the cloth during the next podcast. Talk shit.
Church is in session.
This is church, bitch.
So we are at 1 hour and 20 minutes, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's fine. We can call it. What time is it?
It is 9:25.
Damn, it's early. No, that's cool. I feel like this one was good.
Yeah.
I'll bet your fucking likes.
It's the train wreck.
Always a fucking train wreck. On Will's Fukery.
Back to the train wreck.
So I guess I don't know. I kind of like that little outro shit I sent you the other day before you dropped the episode.
Yeah.
I think we should
Do
start
another
doing
one?
That shit, yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, and I guess until next time.
For now, I don't have anything clever to say. I guess if you made it this far, once again, thank you. I know if you motherfuckers that are watching this, if you just tell one person,
and they tell one person,
that would double. Fuck, I'm just telling one person. It's just, come on. I need the love. Where is the love?
I think, well, this whole podcasting thing takes time just like anything else, but it's also like being the entertaining, and we'll get better as time goes on too, because we'll kind of find our niche and our...
Your niche is the fucking like.
Yeah, like, and sure, right. It's going to be the drinking game.
That's what you say.
The train wreck of Will's fuckery and drinking. For all those who are of age or underage drinking.
No, that's cool. Fuck it. Drink, smoke, do drugs.
Gotta experience life, man.
But just be a good person.
Be a good person.
And don't eat, if you tuned into the last episode.
Don't be getting cancer by eating lots of puss.
Right. And I guess that's a wrap. We'll end with the dirty pussy eating of whatever.
So until
thank you all.
Next, yep.
Very much.
Peace.
And the good thing about the end of the week is now you look forward to the beginning of the next. I'll be back when the week is new. And I'll have more fucked up shit to discuss with you. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's just my Mr. Rogers outro. Look, I know I said it every time I record something. Anything you all watch and show support, I so appreciate it. Thank you very much. Next week, we'll be dropping 2 more episodes that we'll record either Friday night or Saturday. Please spread the word. Everybody has at least one fucking friend that has YouTube. Tell them to subscribe to Will's Fukery. And again, if anybody wants to come to the house, have a drink, talk dumb shit, talk real shit, let's do it. Also, if you don't want to come to the house, if you're out of state from where I am, or whatever, we got phones, we got Skype, we got Google, whatever the fuck, Zoom. So I guess that's a wrap for this week. See y'all soon. Thank you again. Peace.